Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we're gonna do this stitch. This stitch has to be worked in rounds. So if you want to do an infinity scarf, a blouse, you can do with this stitch. It's really nice and goes really fast. This stitch works with odd number. If you are to work this stitch flat, you're gonna have one row of this, the way it looks now, and you're gonna have this, the next row, when you change the row, when you start a new row. So I think it looks nice like this to do in rounds, if you like. So I'm gonna show you how to work this in rounds. Like I said, you can try to do flat. You're gonna have to chain odd number, and then you're gonna skip the first two chains, and in the third chain you're gonna do a double crochet, chain one, skip one chain, and in the next stitch you're gonna do a double crochet, chain one, and you skip the next stitch, and so on. Yeah. But with this and the pink sample that I just showed you, I did with a 4.5mm crochet hook. Yeah. Now I'm gonna show you with a thicker yarn, and I'm gonna use 5.0mm crochet hook. Yeah. You can do the chain, you can cast chains, or you can do the foundation single crochet, and in here I have 23 stitches. Yeah. So what you're gonna do after you finish the foundation single crochet, the way you do normal, you're gonna finish and you're gonna go in through this line, you're gonna pick up a loop, and then you're gonna take the way it is and you're gonna twist it like this. Make sure that the, how you say, the chain or the foundation chain is not twisted. So you're gonna go to the first chain that you did in there, right there, and you're gonna pull up a loop. Yeah. You're gonna pass this loop through the next one. It's like a slip stitch, and then yarn over and gonna pull the yarn through the next two loops, and we're gonna go to the next stitch right here, and you're gonna do a slip stitch again. Yeah. And now you're gonna chain two. This is the only time when you start the row you're gonna chain two. If you like to change colors, then I suggest you put a marker after you chain two, because I'm not gonna chain when I reach the end of this row. After I do this row, I'm not gonna chain. I'm gonna just go directly and do the stitch. Yeah. So we did the two chains, yarn over, and in the same stitch where we joined, you're gonna pull up a loop, you're gonna move to the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, and you're gonna pull the yarn through the first 3 loops, yarn over and pull the yarn to the next 2, chain 1, and we're gonna work. This is how we're gonna work this stitch. It's just 1 row repeat. Yarn over the hook, we're gonna go back to the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through the first 3 loops, pull the yarn to the last 2, chain 1, yarn over the hook, and we're gonna repeat. We're gonna go back to the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull the yarn through the first 3 loops, pull the yarn to the next 2, chain 1, yarn over the hook, go to the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull the yarn through the first 3 loops, pull the yarn to the last 2, chain 1, and we're gonna do like this. You go back to the last stitch that you worked, next stitch, chain 1. So yarn over the hook, go back to the last stitch that you worked through, pull up a loop, oops, go to the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull the yarn to the next 3, next 2, chain 1, and you're gonna do like this. It's a very easy stitch, goes really fast. Well, now depends what you're gonna do, what project you choose to do. This might eat some yarn, maybe not as much, but still, just make sure that you have enough to finish the project. But I think for an infinity scarf, you're gonna, I don't know, depends how wide and how long you want that infinity scarf to be when you do the circle. But I think you might need at least between 300 and maybe 400 grams of yarn for infinity scarf. If you are to do a hat with this, it might take less, maybe 120 grams. I can give you the yarn size because I live in Japan. Japan doesn't label the yarn size. It just recommends the crochet hook that I should use with that yarn. And like I said, when I reach the end and I have to start the next row, I don't chain anything, I don't do a slip stitch. So if, like I said, you have to put a marker, maybe after we reach the end of this row, and you can change colors if you like. At least you will know exactly where is the beginning of the row to change the colors. Yeah, but I think with this stitch I'm gonna do a blouse, which I'm gonna cast enough chains that will go around my chest, because that might be the area that is the widest. It depends now if you want to, how long you want that to be, the blouse. So I'm gonna chain 1, yarn over the hook. So I'm gonna, almost the end, I have the tail here. So I'm gonna go to the last stitch that I worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull the yarn to the 3 loops, last 2, chain 1, yarn over the hook. I'm gonna go back to the last stitch that I worked, yeah, and I have the chain 2 here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go directly through the space, the 2 chain space here, you see, yeah. So I'm gonna pull the yarn to the first 3 loops, last 2, chain 1, and I'm gonna go back to the 2 chain space where I worked last, pull up a loop, we move to the next space, pull up a loop, pass the yarn to the 3 loops, last 2, chain 1, and I'm gonna work on and on and on. And when I finish this row and I have to return, I'm not chaining anything, like so. I didn't chain. So I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna work on and on and on. For example, for the blouse that I want to make with this stitch, I'm gonna use, for example, let's say, because I'm working now with the 5.0, I'm gonna start the bottom with the 5mm. I'm gonna work few rounds. When I reach my waistline, I'm gonna change to 4mm crochet hook for the waist, and then I'm gonna change back. After I finish the waist, I'm gonna change back to the 5.0 to finish the rest of the work. So that's about it. This is the stitch. It's a very easy, I don't think you need to concentrate with this, but sometimes you have to remember to chain 1, because it's very possible if you let your mind wander on other things, you might miss to chain 1. I just want to reach the end and then show you that I don't chain anything, no slip stitch. But you have to remember that this works with the odd number. So if you want, for example, to make a basket, you're gonna do the base of the basket or the bag, and make sure that you have odd stitches when you finish that. So that's about it. It's a very easy, fast going stitch. Like I said, might eat some yarn, depends what project you choose to do. So that that might take some yarn. But I think you got the idea how this stitch works. Yeah, I think to do a blouse with a thinner yarn, of course the design will not look the same. Well, will look the same, but just very smaller and thinner. So I'm almost at the end. I have the tail here, right? Kind of measure. So around here, if you didn't put the marker, you will not know when to start the row. So I just go directly. I don't chain anything. I just go on and on and on. As you can see, I passed where we joined. So I just go and do this on and on and on. So if you are to, depends now which side you like. I like this this side. Yeah, I like this one. So you might choose maybe this one. Depends. So this is the back of the work. So if you are to do a flat something, it's gonna be one row of this, and the next row is this. Like I said, keep in mind it's an odd number of stitches or chains. So this is the stitch. Well, I hope you like the stitch. Give it a try. You might enjoy it. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Have a good day.